When we're asked why we constantly reach for our phones, the standard conventional answers are always ready. They roll off the tongue so easily, don't they? We say we're just checking to see if any messages have come in, maybe a work email that needs an urgent reply. We tell ourselves we're just scrolling to see if someone posted an interesting film or to catch up on the latest news, perhaps to see if something dreadful has happened overseas. We have crafted a narrative that paints us as informed, connected, and efficient individuals. But this explanation, while convenient, is in danger of sounding far too normal, and frankly, far too kind to us. It's a surface-level story we tell ourselves and others to mask a much deeper, more uncomfortable reality. The truth is a lot darker and rather more humbling. We don't pick up our phones primarily to find out what's going on in the world. We pick them up with a subconscious and considerable ruthlessness to ensure that we are in no danger of finding out anything more about ourselves. It's the greatest act of misdirection in our daily lives. If we were to forensically study the moments when we are most powerfully drawn to our devices, we would find a clear and consistent pattern. The urge isn't random. It is almost always a direct response to some kind of anxiety pressing in on us. It's the discomfort of the unresolved, the quiet hum of a difficult emotion, or the shadow of a challenging thought. These are not trivial anxieties. They're often signals from our deeper selves, and their analysis and interpretation might be the very thing on which the correct navigation of our lives actually depends. Yet, in these critical moments, we turn away. We are using our devices as a psychological anesthetic, a digital shield against the necessary, albeit sometimes painful, work of introspection. We use them as an alternative to thinking, especially about our futures and our feelings. We employ our machines to block insight, to halt the essential business of processing our experiences, and to systematically alienate our mind from their most promising and complex substrata. Every time we unlock our screen to escape a feeling, we lock a door to a part of ourselves. So, what are these thoughts we are so desperate to avoid? They are the raw material of a well-lived life. The thoughts attempting to break into our consciousness might be about our mother and the strange, subtly disturbing thing she said to us over lunch last Sunday. It wasn't a big thing, but it has been lingering, hinting at a dynamic in your relationship you haven't wanted to face for years. Or maybe the thought is about your career. It might be about how you should try to make better use of your unique talents, a painful realization sparked by a recent meeting with an old university friend. You saw their passion, their progress, and for a fleeting moment, you felt the sting of your own compromise, the quiet grief for the path not taken. It's an uncomfortable feeling. So what do? You pull out your phone and scroll through someone else's vacation photos. The feeling subsides, but the problem remains, buried for another day. Or perhaps the thought is about an unkind and sharp word our partner had with us this morning. It was a small jab, but it carried the weight of a dozen previous arguments, and it threatens to throw the entire foundation of the relationship into question once again. The silence that follows is thick with things that need to be said, with vulnerabilities that need to be aired. How convenient, how dreadfully convenient, that we should have invented a pocket-sized device to fill that silence, to ensure that we will never have to meet ourselves or each other in that difficult, transformative space. And how darkly ironic that we should blithely refer to this, of all things, as an instrument of communication. True communication is about presence, listening, and vulnerability. Our devices, more often than not, facilitate the exact opposite. They are instruments of broadcast, not connection. We take pride in the time we've saved, the dictionaries we don't have to consult, the atlases we can throw away. We celebrate the many strange and funny things we've discovered in the endless digital stream. And yet, we meticulously ignore the profound, invisible costs. We ignore the fruitful boredom we haven't had those empty moments of waiting in line or staring out a window where our best ideas used to be born. Our brain's default mode network, the very source of our creativity and self-reflection, only activates when we are at rest, and we have systematically eliminated rest from our lives. We ignore the daydreams we haven't entertained, the reveries we've throttled at birth, the complex ideas we've not hatched, the novels we haven't written, the businesses we didn't start. Most tragically, we ignore the feelings we've not identified, the emotional currents we've refused to navigate, and the vast territories of self-awareness we've lost. However, this does not have to be the end of the story. This cycle of avoidance is a habit, and habits can be reshaped. It begins with a single, radical act of defiance. Precisely at the moment when we most want to pick up our phones, when the anxiety is rising, when the boredom feels unbearable, should learn to do something very unusual. Pause. Just for a few seconds. Don't judge the urge, don't fight it. Simply notice it. And in that sacred pause, we must ask ourselves a bold question. If I wasn't allowed to consult my phone right now, what might I need to think about? The answer to this question can provide us with nothing less than a royal road into our own unexamined lives. It is the beginning of a new relationship with ourselves. Instead of using our phones to stop ourselves from thinking, we can begin to study our craving for them. This urge can become a compass, a guide, pointing us toward the exact areas of our lives that require our gentle, focused attention. We can study the times we most want to flee to them to understand what we should be staying put and exploring within ourselves. So, when that itch for distraction is at its height, when your thumb is hovering over that familiar app, take a breath. Turn over the following questions in your mind. You don't need to have the answers right away. The act of asking is the most important part. What am I truly trying to do with the rest of my life? What should I concentrate on that truly matters? What might I be sad about deep down? What might I be angry about and why? What truth about myself or my situation have I been avoiding? What is it that my soul, my intuition, my deeper self might need to tell me? The answers are all inside us already. They're not hiding from us. We have been hiding from them. They are half imploring us and half begging us not to download, yet more noise, more news, more notifications to drown them out. By practicing this simple act of pausing and questioning, something miraculous begins to happen. The very instrument we use for our escape becomes the signal for our return. Our instruments of non-communication might turn out to be a gateway to profound insight. After all, the phone doesn't have to be the villain in our story. It can simply be the bell that calls us home to ourselves. This journey isn't about achieving perfection or eliminating anxiety. It's about building the courage to sit with our own complexity, to listen to our own lives. It's about reclaiming our inner world, one intentional pause at a time. It's in that quiet space, free from digital noise, that we can finally begin to write our own stories, start our own ventures, and build relationships founded on genuine presence. This is where real life is lived. If this idea of turning distraction into discovery resonates with you, and you're ready to start the journey of living a more examined, intentional life, please consider subscribing to our channel. We explore these ideas further, offering tools and perspectives to help you reconnect with what truly matters. Thank you for listening.